Odenguma. No vamos ir odenguma. Watu tiake bwana kwa jeje watu.
So many questions that Kenyans would want to know around the girl Philomena. I've seen in the social media people asking many questions, and whether or not the letter circulating on the media, that has been circulating in the media for some time, is genuine. The school in question is in my constituency, and I am the Member of Parliament for Mwala constituency, and I thought it is wise to give a full account of what I know about the whole story. This letter first hit my inbox from one of my officers in the constituency, and when I look, they just told me they have seen it circulating in the media. And when I looked at it, I carefully studied it and noticed a few anomalies, and especially the handwriting. The letter had two different handwritings, and I asked my personal assistant to confirm with the principal whether indeed that was a student in Kithangaini Secondary School, and whether it is true that this was actually a genuine case. And I got a response from the principal that that was indeed a student in Kithangaini Secondary School, and but the principal also confirmed that by the time of the letter was circulating, the student was still in school, and also the student was not the author of that particular letter and was not also aware. That was a preliminary information that I received, and within a couple of days, because I thought this letter addressed to His Excellency the President would obviously have gotten the attention of the community and local leaders if such a student existed in my constituency. So also further, the principal confirmed that the student was studying in Mwala but from a different constituency. The student is from Mavoko constituency. But still further, I also wanted to know, because a student in Kenya who is a needy student is really a student who needs attention. Within a couple of a day or so, the letter was circulating in the media and highly publicized. And I got interested also to dig further and know really the circumstances surrounding this particular student. I can confirm that indeed this is a needy student, and the student really is, the need for this particular student is really not just about school fees, but more of the upkeep of the student, the background. This is a total orphan. The story that was on social media and that particular circulating letter about school fees was really not the case, because I'd confirmed with the principal that this student has an organization that has been paying the school fees called Living Positive, and by the time before Corona started, the organization had paid everything in terms of school fees. But when the CS Education announced that finalists need to go back to school, this was one of the finalists who went back to school, and immediately went back to school, then they were all sent back home to come with school fees. And this student went alongside the other students. And the story began when this student accompanied another student home whose fees is also supported or paid by another organization called Oasis of Hope. And Oasis of Hope wanted to know more about this student as well, who was being supported by Living Positive. And they asked the student if she was willing to be assisted, and she said yes. And they asked her to if she would be willing to write a letter so that she can get assistance. And the student was willing until the time now when the organization Oasis of Hope was the one to draft the letter. And I have evidence to confirm that their organization has admitted that they are the ones who drafted the letter. But what I have gathered from this organization is that they did it in good faith, because they realized they wanted a good letter that befits a president, the eyes of a president, and in good faith they drafted a letter and gave this student to copy. And but when this student started copying now, Philomena, she looked at the addressee as a president and she was a little scared. And she said she is not able to continue to copy this particular letter because it's addressed to the president. But they convinced her to do it. She did the up to the addressee, but she was not able to copy the body of the letter, and she refused to continue. This other student who was accompanying her, she's called, let me just hold the name, but this other student completed the letter on her behalf, but the student made herself clear that she was not comfortable having this letter going to the president. But that was not the story, because I wanted to know why then, if this letter is addressed to the president, for a sensitive case like this one, for a young student who needs to be protected, why then would an NGO go ahead to post this letter to the social media, if indeed the addressee was the president? And I can confirm to Kenyans that the student Philomena is highly traumatized. I visited the school yesterday to know how the student is doing, and also the principal and the deputy, and in view of being overwhelmed by these particular events. And therefore I took it upon myself to dig the truth, to know why would then this organization post this particular letter on social media instead of getting it to the president, because an established NGO would easily approach a leader or the administration, or even walk to one of the offices and deliver this message. But the said organization Oasis of Hope, in their response, they have said that they never posted this letter on social media, and that was never their intention. This organization has confirmed that this letter, once after the letter was drafted, they gave it to a person that they thought would take it to the president or provide a solution. And this person that they took this letter to, they've said it is Dr. Alfred Mutua, the governor of Machakos County. So the organization actually didn't post this letter on social media. They actually send it to MUTUA on WhatsApp, and there is evidence to confirm that in their own words. And Dr. Alfred Mutua, my good governor, received this letter. In his own wisdom, instead of helping the student, because or even extending a call to the principal to understand what really was the issue, he decided to use his means to get the letter circulated to social media. Of course, not understanding the impact that this letter would have on the student and the trauma. And the organization confirms that they waited for response from Dr. Alfred. They never got a response after they sent this letter on WhatsApp to him. They later saw it circulating on social media, and they confirmed that they never sent this particular letter to any other person. And that is a true account of events. Of course, we've tried to gather more information about the student and how the student can be assisted. I can confirm that through different members of public of goodwill, the student's fees has been cleared, but still there is a big load, and there are still so many problems surrounding this girl that relate not to education but matters of upkeep. And the student really, besides not being an orphan, the student is also highly disadvantaged in terms of who is supposed to be their immediate guardian. And therefore I request Kenyans to extend a hand to this particular student, not really targeting the school fees, because I can confirm there is no pending school fees, but let it be known that there is so much that this student can be assisted with for her to have a decent life. So also the background and the entire story, if you ask is it genuine, it is genuine to the extent that there is a needy student there. The approach to assist this student, unfortunately, is the one that has highly been politicized and has really affected the students at this particular moment. So after I visited the school, I've discussed with the principal and the deputy on ways of how this student can fully be cancelled, and I'm in touch with the school, and if need be, we need a counsellor beyond what the school can manage. I have already made my commitment to assist to that extent. The whole story was managed by the governor, because one is the one who sent the story. Look at it this way: this is a student who has a school fees around 20,000 or so, and if I didn't even have an office, and I think I would be able to pay to support this student. So the governor decided to take advantage of the situation and pull a PR stand on it, and decided to release it and pause and wait. When the story circulates, when he feels now it has circulated enough, there is already drafted response committing to pay for this student. I want to confirm that by the time, and I can confirm that he made a payment of 26,000, which came later after the student case had already been sorted out. But further to that, I also urge leaders to tame their tongues, because my governor went ahead and said that he's going to pay school fees for all the students who had been sent home for this particular fees requirement. I confirmed with the institution that the fees owing to the institution owed by different students amounts to 1.3 million. Every Kenyan is free to walk into the institution and confirm. And when I walked to the institution, I actually told the principal that every bad thing has a positive side. Now your fees has been cleared by Dr. Alfred Mutua. But they said, they just laughed. and said we have only received a check of 26,000. Now look at it this way. Parents have been told in social media, MUTUA has announced that he has paid school fees for all the students who had been sent home. Now only 26,000 has been received out of the 1.3 million. Then this teacher will obviously be asked questions by parents. If he sends students home for fees, why are you asking for fees and Dr. Alfred has paid it? So I think then it brings issues, because the teacher may be cornered because the parents think she has received the money, while in actual sense the money has not been received. So that is the truth, and I would be willing to engage anyone who has any contrary opinion or facts. All these things I've said, I have the facts with me here, and I'm going to share with you. Even these all organizations, they have the information is recorded in good faith. They have no problem with that, because they are speaking the truth, and therefore it's just the truth and nothing but the truth. And we also want to, like I said, to caution leaders that don't let us not just run after small things to build some names for ourselves. In any case, the county government, for instance, is receiving tens of billions every year. I see the clamor for more and more in this BBI. There is a kitty for bursaries. My governor, in fact, before even running to rescue one student, he really should have already rescued this and so many other students in Machakos County. You would want to ask yourself, where was this particular case in the first place? Why should it be treated as a rescue plan when there is already so much money with the county to support students with bursaries? And I'm surprised most of our governors, when some of these things come, they start quoting national government. I saw Dr. Alfred's message, and after purported paying of school fees, telling the national government and advising the national government how fees for students should be paid, as when he has the money to pay for the students himself. So I think we need to be factual, and we also need to be realistic when we are handling issues affecting Kenyans, and let's not expose our students unnecessarily. And therefore, in conclusion, I think the problems facing Philomena now are deliberately caused by MUTUA's interest in creating some PR stunts to propel his national interest, instead of just helping a student in silence without exposing her details for ridicule across the country. The student does not take it as this was as an instance to help her. She takes it as an exposure, public ridicule or something, because of our limitations. Yeah.